What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Daily Walk with Lance. This is where I take my morning Bible devotional, I take some notes down, and I share it with you guys. Like I say before every video, don't look at me as a spiritual leader, prophet, pastor. I'm nothing like that. I'm just the average Joe trying to put more Jesus on the internet because I had this thought that if we were up talking with the disciples, they would talk about how they had to travel for people to hear them speak, or people traveled to where they were, to where they lived to hear them speak. And so now, with the invention of the internet and phones and cameras, we could talk to people thousands of miles apart in an instant. And they would ask us, what was it like spreading the gospel that way? And most of us would have to look at them and be like, we didn't use it for that. We used it for work. We used it for games. We used it for school. We used it for politics. We used it for literally everything except that. And so I'm just trying to rectify that situation. And also, don't rely on me for your devotional. You should be doing your own study. You should be in the Word yourself outside of any content you take in. And that's not me, like, I'm not saying that I'm not thankful for every view I get, but I'm also, like, at the same time, I'm not going to neglect what the truth is. And the truth is, you alone are responsible for your salvation. Today this is a little early compared to most days because of the weather. I got up a little early so that I could go get an early workout in, at least, but because where I live, about noon, 1 o'clock, which is usually around the time I'm working out, is when it's supposed to like really start. Like it's already spitting a little bit of snow, but that's when it was really supposed to pick up. So I just decided to, well, I didn't decide last night. What I decided last night was that if I woke up early, I would go and get my workout in early. And if I didn't and it was already snowing out, then there's stuff I could do at home. But I wasn't gonna get out. But so far this morning, the roads are still okay. It's just doing a little bit of spit, that little like flurry of snow. So I'm also getting into my video a little bit earlier as well. And then maybe if it does good, maybe I'll stick around this time. But then again, it might be because the weather is bad. Everybody's inside. I don't know. And I am gonna start going live more, and it'll probably be around the 5-6 o'clock time frame. It'll either be 5-6 o'clock somewhere in there, or like 10-11 o'clock. It'll be one or the other. I haven't decided how I would want to incorporate that and still like have somewhat of my normal evening routine. But let's get into it. All right. This is the Bible devotional for January 24th. As always, we are in the New American Standard Bible. We are in the book of Psalm, chapter 18, verses 1 through 19. And if the snow does hit and church, we can't get to church tomorrow, then I might just do the second half of this psalm tomorrow, because normally I don't upload on Sundays. But if we're snowed in, then I might do that. But this is where King David is praising God for King David's victories militarily, especially against Saul. And of course, the author of this is King David. And it says, I love you, Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my Savior. My God, my rock, and my God, my rock, in a horn I take refuge. In whom I take refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, and I am saved from my enemies. The ropes of death encompassed me, and the torrents of destruction terrified me. The ropes of Sheol surrounded me. The snares of death confronted me. In my distress I called upon the Lord, and cried out to my God for help. He heard my voice from his temple, and my cry for help before him came into his ears. Then the earth shook and quaked, and the foundations of the mountains were trembling and were shaken, because he was angry. Smoke went up out of his nostrils, and fire from his mouth was devouring. Coals burned from it. he also bowed the heavens down low and came down with thick darkness under his feet. He rode on a cherub and flew, and he sped on the wings of the wind. He made darkness his hiding place, his canopy around him, darkness of waters, thick clouds. From the brightness before him passed. Wait, I lost my spot. From the brightness before him passed the thick clouds, hailstones and coals of fire. The Lord thundered in the heavens, and the Most High uttered his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. He sent out his arrows and scattered them, and lightning flashes in abundance and routed them. Then the channels of water appeared, and the foundations of the world were exposed. By your rebuke, Lord, at the blast of the breath of your at the blast of the breath of your nostrils, he sent them on high. He drew. Oh wait, no, I skipped over. Let's start that over. By your rebuke, Lord, at the blast of the breath of your nostrils, he sent from on high. He took me. He drew me out of many waters. He saved me from my strong enemy and from those who hated me, for they were too mighty for me. They confronted me in the day of my disaster, but the Lord was my support. He also brought me out in the open. He also brought me out in an open place. He rescued me because he delighted in me. And that is Psalm chapter 18, verses 1 through 19. And again, this is right after a military victory. He's thanking God because if on paper they shouldn't have won, and it was the enemy was taking advantage of a vulnerable moment. They saw the time that even though on paper they should have won, they saw the time of his vulnerability and decided that's the perfect moment. And then he cried out to God for God's divine intervention in it, and then God answered him. And this isn't the only or first time God has done that. Look at the walls of Jericho, or when the 300, or when it was like 8,000, he withered down 8,000 men to 300, and the 300 men surrounded their enemy encampment, and they sent fire into the encampment on animals, and the encampment turned on itself, and then they didn't lose anybody. Or like the walls of Jericho, or Samson with the donkey jawbone. God does deliver military victories, and a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but it's just factual, whether you want to believe it or not. Your feelings on it don't matter. It's just a fact. Okay, and then let's start or let's break down how King David made this praise, this psalm of praise to God. And he starts with love and trust. Literally, the first words out of his mouth was, "Lord, I love you." And it's even in the Lord's Prayer, it starts with, "Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name," which is basically, it's showing God that you recognize who he is. And then he tells God his distress. He tells God what's bothering him, and that he knows his humanity isn't enough. And then he doesn't just tell him about the distress. He asks for help, however that help will come. And he doesn't say, "Oh, will you help me this way? Will you help me that way?" He just says, "Will you help me?" And then God responds. He didn't even just respond, but he responded in a mighty way, a way that showed off God's power, a way that even King David could say that no human army, no human force could have done what happened, and that it was from the grace of God that they won. And God rescues him ultimately. Um, and he thanks God for that. If you notice, he's thanking God for everything that happened. And then after God rescues him, David has his victory. David has that victory that he's used to since he was a kid when it started with Goliath. He he persevered through his own personal disaster of his own doing with Bathsheba. He perseveres through it. It's kind of like the difference between Judas and Peter. They both did similar things. They both denied the Lord, but when they broke down and realized what they had done and that it was wrong, they reacted two different ways. Judas, we know what happened to Judas. For algorithm purposes, we just know Judas. God said it would have been better if he had never been born. But Peter repented and turned back to God, and then went out and evangelized and gained more people over, and then ended up being crucified upside down. So that you want to be the Peter, not the Judas. And always remember to just ultimately trust God. Ask for his help, and then believe if it's his will, the help will be there. Because that's just, if he promises something, it's going to happen, whether you want it or not. So trust the process. And also, I thought there was one more thing. Hold on. Let me look real quick. Or did I get it all? Oh, right here. I did want to clarify this part because I'm used to people who sometimes they read stuff and they don't know exactly what they read. And that's fine. There's times that I'm like that as well. But this is one that I feel like could get someone tripped up. When it talks about, he rode on a cherub and flew, and where is it? Oh, hold on, I'm looking for it. Well, maybe I lost. Maybe I already covered it. Oh, here it is. He also bowed the heavens down low and came down with thick darkness under his feet. That part, it's basically just saying as he came down on the clouds darkened things. It's not. It's a literal darkness, not a evil darkness. So that's what I was looking for, because some people look at the word darkness and they take both meanings and they try to figure out which it is. And here it's like, if the clouds came down low, think about it like fog. Fog makes the area dark, hard to see. And while this is a different kind of dark, hard to see, think of it like a mushroom cloud. How it could be so bright and so physically dark at the same time, especially if it goes off at night. It's kind of the same thing. It's like I said, it's more of a physical, like with your eyes darkness and not an evil darkness. I just wanted to clear that up real quick. And I think that'll do it. And like I said, if church gets canceled tomorrow, I will probably just go ahead and do a video so that there's something out there, because other states may get worst part of the storm. Some people might not get any and it won't matter, but there will be the possibility that I'll do another video tomorrow. I think that'll do it. Oh, the softball ministry. Like I said, we're getting ready to order the jerseys. So, if you want to be a last minute sponsor, I will drop the email in the YouTube description and the Rumble description. But if you're listening to this, it's team TEAM legacy LEGACY softball at gmail.com. And the YouTube channel that we'll post content to will be youtube.com/ and then the @ symbol Legacy Softball. And then if you want like an official breakdown of the sponsor, I've got an official letter and everything. But just that way we can get the ball rolling talking about it. And I won't like keep saying that for very much longer because, like I said, we're getting ready to wear the jerseys and the season's going to start. So, anyway, I think that'll do it. Remember, if you are in the area of the storm and it storms, be safe. Don't be stupid. Oh yeah, and then anyway, if this is the first time one of my videos, if you would, please drop me a follow, hit the like button, share the video. That's just the way the algorithm works. The only way it knows to push people who aren't already a celebrity or big business is by how much interaction they're getting, whether you're liking the video, commenting on it, sharing it. Those things are what ultimately pushes the algorithm, and that's the algorithm on all of them. They all act a little bit different, but if you break it down, the algorithms, all of them love interaction. So interact with the video. That's how the message gets shared. It's not just about trying to have a social media following or social media career. Like, I won't hide that I would love to have that, but at the same time, the message is what matters. The Bible study part is what matters, not whether or not, I can do this full time. Oh, and remember, the whole part of the point that Jesus came down and died was so that the Holy Spirit would stop dwelling in the temple and us having to do a bunch of stuff to be able to interact with it. But it comes and lives inside us. We are the temple now. So treat your body like the temple. Get back in shape. Like I said, I'm still on my journey because it's a process. Getting in shape, getting healthier, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So, like always, trust the process. Do better. All right, y'all. I will probably catch y'all tomorrow. Peace.